What is going on, Guardians? Ember here with another one for you. Do you want your damage numbers in Pantheon to look like these? Then stick around and we'll make it happen for you. Before we get into it, make sure you head down below this video, absolutely obliterate that like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below if this is the kind of content you like to see. And without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, Guardians, Hunter is super strong right now on Solar. As everyone knows, Celestial Nighthawk and Izinagi's Burden are a great pairing for super high burst damage. I'm pretty sure without any buffs or debuffs on enemies, you're going to be dealing almost 1 million instantaneous damage with the two of those if you just go right into them right away at the beginning, which is usually the goal. We're going to be pairing this with Crux Termination. I have Impact Casing, Clown Cartridge, and Explosive Light. Now, Explosive Light is optional. You can technically get Surrounded, which is a higher damage overall, but you're not always going to be surrounded. That's why I prefer Explosive Light. Let's go ahead and explore this subclass here. We're going to be using the Golden Gun Marksman, obviously, since we're pairing it with Celestial Nighthawk. Our dodge, important, we're using the class ability dodge, so we want to make sure we reload our weapons here with the Marksman's dodge and not use the Radiant one. We're actually going to use a Fragment and our Knife Trick melee so that we can get Radiant and give it to our entire team. It's not going to give us a small radius that we have to dodge into, and that way we're not jumping in front of anybody's rockets. We want to make sure we're using the Healing Grenade because we're going to use that as kind of our panic button while we're out clearing ads, and that's very important in Pantheon. I had many times where I was very glad to have this Healing Grenade. We're going to be using the Knock 'em Down aspects and the On Your Mark aspects. The Fragments we're going with, very important, Ember of Torches. That's where we're getting our Radiant. We're going to have our powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, and that is the same buff that's getting applied when you have a well. So if you don't have a well, this is a really great way to give your team that radiant buff for at least a few seconds and deal some quick damage. We're using Ember of Solace so that our radiant lasts longer. We're using Ember of Wonder because we're going to be getting tons of solar ignitions with our Lunas, since the artifact has that really great perk on there giving us the ignitions when we're radiant. So we're going to get radiant really easily, and then we're going to get ignitions on all of the ads, and that's going to help you with ad clear and just keeping the general room knocked down from all the little, twerps running around. We're using Ember of Singeing so that we can get our class ability faster. It's super important to have your class ability because we have that class warfare modifier on in Pantheon right now. You're going to get a whole bunch of extra damage the more you use your class ability, and since we're scorching everything anyway, this is a really great way to get your class ability back super fast. And then lastly, Ember of Mercy, again, just for a little bit of survivability, especially while you're reviving teammates. It's going to give you and the nearby allies restoration just for a little bit so you can get back into whatever it is you were doing. Let's check out the artifact right here. This is how we're setting it up. Definitely want to pick up that Argent Ordnance and use your rocket launcher last. Start with your super, then your Izinagi's Burden, and then your rocket launcher, because you're going to consume that armor charge, and we want to make sure that we're using our armor charge for our kinetic weapon surges. Since we have 2 of them stacked, that will help our Celestial Nighthawk deal extra damage, and then use that 3rd slot for whatever surge you need with your heavy weapon. Let's check out these mods really quick, and let's go into some gameplay and just see exactly how well this works.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
Alright, so the beauty of this build is it's simple to use. However, we do have a lot going on. Number 1, you can use Izinagi for a whole lot of great things in Pantheon. Number 1, my favorite way to use it is to take out those Colossus in the planets room. It's essentially an instantaneous delete, and you are almost never in any danger at all. Let's talk about our aspects really quickly, because at first glance, the Hunter aspects don't seem like they're going to be doing all that much to help you get through this activity, but really they actually help quite a lot, not just for you, but your entire team. firstly, knock them down because we have that fan of knives going and getting us and our team radiant. Knock them down while we are radiant gives us our throwing knife back instantaneously if we get a final blow with it. And what that means is that you are free to use this ability whenever you need to get out of a sticky situation. It's not just to toss it on to the boss right before DPS if there's no well, which is a really great functionality for it to have and for you to have when your team needs that and when you need it most. Next, on your mark is also great since we're using the class warfare modifier right now. This, when we activate our class ability, will immediately grant maximum stacks of on your mark to all of your allies around. And those stacks are incredibly strong because they give you weapon handling. So for most teams, you're going to be using something like bait and switch, or you're going to be animation cancel swapping between different weapons, and that's going to give you the handling for that, but also reload speed buff as well. So that's another great thing to keep in your back pocket. And I really cannot explain how strong it is to make sure you always have those class warfare buffs up. It gives you a lot of extra damage, a huge amount of extra damage. That is why you see my golden gun dropping 999 all the time whenever I use it. And this build is fantastic for every single room in Pantheon currently except for Atrax. Atrax, the damage window that you have for him is really just a couple of seconds. So you'll want to swap off of Izinagi and your rocket launcher and instead use the parasite grenade launcher. But that should still give you plenty of time to dish out huge amounts of damage. Now, I am using the Lunas that you get from the quest when you do the Brave Arsenal for the ability to unlock Lunas, and this one puts in a huge amount of work. It's not even a god roll. You can definitely get better, and you can swap it for something like a Zauli's Bane, something like that, and you know, you're getting those from doing these clears. Many of the people that I was running with were getting Adept Zauli's Bane, and those are just fantastic. Definitely something I'm going to be looking for, but even something as basic as this hand cannon that you just get for free for doing things in Onslaught will help you to clear huge waves of ads with this seasonal artifact. And the artifact right now is my main method of ad clear since we're getting Radiant so easily. Anytime we get those headshot final kills, it basically turns any solar hand cannon into Sunshot. It's just really great for clearing out those ads quickly, and especially in like the caretaker room here, you're going to take out those ads super fast, and then you can turn and shoot down the little pin missiles flying around all over the place. Now, this was my first attempt at doing Pantheon, and with this build, it went so incredibly smoothly. I was using the in-game Fireteam binder, and the people I was grouped up with, they had everything down as well, and so it went super smooth. Using something like this is going to keep up with all those other fantastic builds in the game, and even sometimes deal more damage. And Guardians, that's going to have to be all for me for now. Let me know in the comment section down below if you enjoy this build, and until next time, Guardians, be without form, swift as lightning.